In 2014, Killer Be Killed released their debut album to an unsuspecting world. An album packed full of quality tunes and a fine example of what can be achieved when a supergroup does things for the right reasons. But many of us were left wondering, would there ever be another album? Six years later, they're back. But can they recapture the magic of the first album, or was it merely lightning in a bottle? You're gonna step in at some point, mate? What, we doing these again, are we? Yes, we're doing them again, you twat. When did this happen? I just decided for this album. Well, you could have told me. I am you. Oh, let's review an album. It's Killer Be Killed with Reluctant Hero. So, welcome back to another video, everybody. YouTube's greatest reviewer is back with another video that may get some views, and then likely every single video after that will get even less. You people. But before I go into the review, a quick word from my sponsor, Hayden's Art. Make sure you check out Hayden's Art on Instagram. He does all sorts of stickery stuff in a metal vein, and that, you know, he does sort of things about metal stuff and, you know, things. Hayden's Art. I say sponsor, he sent me some stickers. He don't pay me anything for that, which, considering the quality of my channel, is, you know, fair enough. My particular favourite is this one from Nurgle of Behemoth, Hayden's Art. So then, 6 years after the release of Killer Be Killed's self-titled debut album, they're back with their sophomore effort, Reluctant Hero. I forgot to say the title of it. And once again we see the triumphant return of Max Cavalera, Soulfly, Cavalera Conspiracy, ex-Sepultura, as well as Nailbomb, Greg Puciato, Dillinger Escape Plan and the Black Queen, Troy Sanders of Mastodon and Gone Is Gone, and Ben Koller, Converge, All Pigs Must Die, Mutoid Man and others. And Ben is replacing Dave Elitch, who handled drumming duties on the debut. The writing process for this album began back in 2016, but the band kept it under wraps because they just wanted to keep it to themselves and work on the material. And fair play to them, they did manage to evade everything really, because I think all of us were quite surprised when we found out this album was coming out this year. So there you go. And lastly, the album was released on Nuclear Blast Records, which is the home of metal nowadays. The Roadrunner, I guess, of our day, although Roadrunner are still going as well. And was produced by Josh Wilbur, Gojira, Lamb of God, Hatebreed, etc, etc, and so forth and such. But what better way to truly review an album than to take a look at the songs themselves? No review is worth a fudge without it. So let's do that now. Okay, so first up we have Deconstructing Self-Destruction. This was the first single to be released from the album, and it's a perfect introduction, not just to the album, but to the band in general, because it gives you a real peek into exactly what you can expect. Basically, you've got 4 members, all at the top of their game, 3 vocalists, all with distinct styles and who take it in turns and do their tang. I think part of the joy of Killer Be Killed is, especially listening to it for the first time, is kind of the anticipation of which each vocalist is going to do, when they're going to come in, what they're going to bring to it, because that's a good thing. One of the great things about this band, as well as the sheer lack of ego, seems just everybody's doing their thing for the song, for the benefit of the song. From what I remember, Ben Koller seemed to join the band shortly after the first album for the touring cycle. I can't remember why Dave Elitch left, but he did. The inclusion of him on this album is noticed straight away. I noticed the drums on this album way more than the first one. I found myself much more aware of the drums as I was listening to them, and that's very well demonstrated on this. Just some of the drum fills he does, just these subtle little things, and some of them not so subtle, just works really well. Greg and Max both deliver stellar vocal performances on this track, but it's Troy who is the real standout on this one. I'm a bit biased because I'm a huge Mastodon fan, but his vocals are just amazing throughout this entire album. His vocals just work over this real nice chugging riff. Lyrically speaking, and I'm speaking lyrically now, it seems to be talking about living in the now and truly appreciating life, or maybe not wasting life, which seems to be a recurrent theme throughout the album. Apparently albums have them. Themes. like this. Find the way, you never get a second chance. Fuck 'em all and only follow your own plans. To get to your own end, live as if you might never die. I can't advise that you live like that myself, you know. I do like to do things quite carefully. Good song though, to start the album. People about, dung dung. People about. Next up, one of my favourites on the album, Dream Gone Bad, and this was the second single to be released. I think it's fair to say this one has been etched in my brain mind box since pretty much since I heard it. Again, a special mention for Ben Koller here. I really enjoyed what he was doing with the toms on this one. Really brings the track alive. Max delivers the fury, Troy is consistently awesome, but I have to say that on this track it was Greg who wormed his way into my mind box mind thing, which sounds truly awful the more I think about it. Never too late, time to turn it all around. Never too late, and you'll never walk alone. I'd prefer to walk alone, there's far too many people up here at the moment, it's really doing my head in. Next up we got Left of Centre. Bit more poppy, this one in a way. I could have kind of saw this one on Mastodon's Once More Round the Sun album. Kind of had that vibe around it. Probably my least favourite song on the album, which is not to say that it's a bad song. I think it's probably more of a reflection of how good the tracks are overall, as opposed to a diss on this track. You mean a diss track? Fuck off. Troy pretty much handles the verses, Greg takes care of the choruses, and Max once again brings the pain. By no means a bad song, just probably the least memorable for me, although I have heard a few other people say it's their favourite, so what do I know? Genuinely, what do I know? Moving on to Inner Calm from Outer Storms. Oh man, this song is something else. I love this. Starts out with this real Neurosis inspired intro. We got these real heavy, Slayer-esque almost tom work coming in from Ben Koller on the drums, and then Troy just joins in with the bass, just this real ominous, very subdued, very, you know, sparse but atmospheric bass line. And Troy again, I'm going to keep gushing over him, but his vocal on this is just fantastic. It really is. Greg and Max come in as well with the guitars, kind of adding these sort of layered, almost ambient sort of levels of guitar before going into a heavier riff. Fantastic vocals again from Troy. Greg sounds amazing, but it's Max. Oh my god, he steals the show on this one. I just love this bit. There's a point in the song where it just slowly builds and suddenly this thrashier riff is introduced, and then Max just steps in, and it's just it was, I don't know what it was, it just, every time I listen to this song there's an anticipation in the build up to that particular part of the song. It just, you know, I mean, I've been listening to Sepultura and all of Max's stuff since 91, something like that, and it's just great to still get that same buzz from the man, you know what I mean? The guy really is a lifer, and it's just great to see that he's still such an integral part of metal, and you know, he can still produce these moments where I just go, yes, you know what I mean? Any old school metalhead who doesn't like that part of the track, then I seriously suggest you have a word with yourself, because enthroned the realm above, collision of the universe, cosmic lunacy. I'll take your soul, collect my fee. Trash hole from beyond, every fear will burn. Beneath the burning sky, embrace me one last time. One of the absolute highlights of the album for me. Loved this track, absolutely astonishing, loved it. Next up we have Filthy Vagabond, and apparently the band called this one the Motorhead / High on Fire song as they were coming up with it. I can see why. Definitely has that gnarly Motorhead feel to it, but I think I think where it really has that Motorhead vibe is more the lyrical side of things. God dang! Lyrically speaking, and I'm speaking lyrically, I can definitely see the Motorhead reference, because this is very much reminiscent of We Are the Road Crew in that it's an ode to life on the road, with lyrics such as city lights when passing by, my home is the road, sound checks hotels, backstage hell, I'm going for broke, getting hammered, playing loud, what life is all about, dirty clothes, shitty food, hell, I'm in the mood. Musically speaking, and I'm speaking musically now, I found the chorus parts especially reminiscent of what was it called? Tripping a Blind Man by Typo Negative. Very, very similar, which I guess maybe they were doing an ode to Motorhead on that song now I think about it. God damn. Living free, onward and upward, you know me. Whoa, don't tell me what you think of who I should be. Whoa. One of my favourites on the album for sure. Love this song. Next up we have the 7-minute epic From a Crowded Wound. This one starts out with a really sludgy, heavy riff, and I can find a lot of influences peppered throughout this one. There's elements of Alice in Chains style vocal harmonies, we've got Neurosis style discordance, there's even elements of Faith No More, kind of the keyboard parts in it reminded me. I think I can't quite place it. I think it might have been something off of what was the big album? The first one. Second one. First one with Mike Patton anyway. That one. And of course traces of the bands that the members are in themselves. Of course. The most prominent of which is a bass heavy section which comes in at around the 2-minute mark, and it's very reminiscent of there's a kind of funky riff that the band put in The Last Baron for the Crack the Sky album. And yeah, it works really works. It's good. Greg handles a lot of the vocals, certainly on the first half of the song, does a great job. The dream of your life is not meant to know. It gets so cold like falling snow. Fuck that up. It is cold though. Before Troy and Max step in with traded vocal passages that work very well. The track takes a bit more of a subdued turn at around 4 minutes in before going into one of the heaviest riffs on the album. One thing I haven't mentioned yet as well, Greg, apparently, I think he takes care of pretty much all the leads on this album as well. He's not just an incredible vocalist, but he's a pretty goddamn tasty guitar player as well. I saw a couple of interviews with the band where I think both Troy and Max were kind of surprised at what a great guitar player he was, and he just came out with all this lead playing that worked really well. Which way am I going? Next up we have the Great Purge. The Great Purge. Starts out with a choir before some huge power chords kick in, some rolling drum fills, and then Troy and Greg trade vocal lines. Troy sounds truly powerful, and Greg harnesses his inner Aussie. The music shifts between heavy and more ambient, clean passages before kicking off into a much thrashier part. I emphasise the R. And Max delivers one of the best lines on the album. Beware of men that are too proud. Another standout on the album, in case you haven't noticed, I've really enjoyed that album. Part of the reason I'm doing this review after taking a break for so long is this album inspired me to. It's fucking great. Next up we have Comfort from Nothing. Opens with a riff that's very reminiscent of Entombed in terms of tone, if nothing else. Positive vibes, LG Pedrov. This is another one that has a very Alice in Chains sort of vocal harmony influence, and it marries perfectly with a heavy riffage. It's been a while, guys, give me a break. I mean, they were never that good in the first place, even when I was doing them a lot. This tune is pretty much a straight ahead rocker from start to finish. Starts off in a kind of a mid-paced tempo, transitions at one point into a kind of a psychedelic tinge bass heavy part, and then goes into a full-on thrashathon. What's not to love? Next track is Animus, and this is pretty much 1 minute of hardcore punk fury. Apparently this one was written by Ben Koller and Max Cavalera together. I think Troy might have been just popped out to have a taco, I think he said in an interview. And they wrote this one in pretty much half an hour. Furious blast beats, lightning speed riffage, and all three vocalists take it in turns to deliver the thunder. If that's a term. Your severed head is a trophy. Your body fed to pigs. Hate the only answer. Pain can only end with death. Nomadic bastards. Animus. Penultimate song is called Dead Limbs, and this is another very fast tempo one with everyone playing it full halt. Ben Koller once again doing a fine job. Lines within the verse are traded between all three vocalists, and then Troy takes care of things on the chorus, and I found this one kind of had a latter day Mastodon kind of a feel to it. Our wheels keep turning, always remind you thoughts of yesterday, and we chase the ghost away. They haunt you every day. Things get more subdued for the bridge section, and again I'm reminded of those Faith No More sort of atmospheric keyboards. In particular, the chord pattern is very reminiscent of the outro to epic, you know, the piano section that takes the song out. It's pretty much difficult to dislike any track on this album, just everything hits the mark. Fantastic. And that brings us to the final track on the album, and the title track itself, Reluctant Hero. I'll say right now, if there's one track on the album that you need to check out, it's this one. Such an emotionally heavy song. It's just, it really shows the maturity of the band and what they're capable of. The song itself is truly epic. It really pulls at the heartstrings. It starts out with this very somber and reflective, simple, clean guitar. I think Greg came up with this riff. In regards to the lyrics, apparently Troy originally started writing the lyrics in honour of his good friend and manager of Mastodon, Nick John. Ooh. The band actually, Mastodon actually put out for Record Store Day, I think it was last year, they actually put out a cover of Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven in his memory. So this song was him continuing that honour, I guess. While he was writing the lyrics to this song, he received a email, I think, from an extended family member about somebody else he knew. He was quite close to, regarded as a friend, called Eddie Merrigan, who sadly passed away as well after, I think he was battling with lymphoma. Yeah, he'd been battling with lymphoma for many months, and sadly he passed away. Now apparently Eddie used to send an email round to everybody in his circle, kind of giving an update every week, whether it be good or bad, and he would always sign off the email by saying, "Your reluctant warrior." In the email that was sent to Troy to inform him of what had happened, said, "We have lost our reluctant hero." Hence the name of the song, which also then became the title of the album. As I stated, the song starts out very subdued, very melancholic, very reflective, and it slowly builds to you have to hear this song. It's just beautiful. It really is a beautiful song. I beg the road to rise and meet you. May the wind be at your back and the sunshine warm on your face, my friend, until we meet again. And that concludes the album. Truly amazing. I really enjoyed this. In terms of a score, I give it an 8 out of 10. There's been a lot of great albums this year that I've been meaning to do reviews for, and for one reason or another I just didn't, but I just listened to this album and I had to do something. Not only is this a fantastic album, but I think if there was ever any doubt as to the validity of this supergroup, then this album crushes that. It really is a joy to hear what these guys do when they get together. I mentioned earlier, but there's no ego involved with this. Everyone just does what's right for the song. You know what I mean? It seems like they're really enthusiastic for what they do. You can tell they're having fun with it as well. It's great. It's such a joy to listen to. 4 friends who enjoy one another's company and enjoy getting together and just jamming out and coming up with new music. It really displays on the album. Everyone involved here truly brings something to the table. Ben Koller brings a new dimension behind the kit. I've mentioned his name many times throughout this review, but he really does. He just fits with the band so well. Troy continues to deliver epic vocal performances throughout, as well as bass, of course. Greg gives some of his most impassioned performances ever, as well as some great guitar, both lead and rhythm. And then there's Max Cavalera. I've already mentioned a few specific parts where Max comes in and just delivers, but yeah, he's such a lifer. I mean, he lives and breathes metal, you know what I mean? I think this is beyond the metal album, to be honest with you. I think it's so varied, and you know, it's really nice to see them doing so many different styles. But yeah, there's so many parts where Max comes in and you just remember, you know, especially for an old school metalhead like myself, listening to Chaos AD or something for the first time and getting that rush, you know, when you hear his voice. It's just great. I just absolutely love it. So great. Love it. So great. Love it. So great. Love it. Max Cavalera, a true legend in our world of music. So yes, there we go. First review in a very long time. In fact, it might actually be the only review I've done this year. I did a couple of reaction videos a while ago. I don't know. I might do some of them again. I've got the setup to do it, but I don't know. Kind of seems just another one of those things everyone's doing. I don't know if I'll be doing too many more videos. I don't know. I had to do something for this. I might see what the reaction to this is. I'm not expecting much. But we'll see how it goes. For any of you who is interested, I have been doing a fair few videos on my other channel, Benjamin Lee Wright. If you did want to go and check that out, then by all means. I kind of deal with a lot of fun stuff like addiction and depression and anxiety and all that sort of stuff. So that's great. I'll leave a link down below in the description. If you're interested, cool. If not, I get it. Maybe I'll be back with something else. I might try and do, on the build up to Christmas, maybe I'll try and do a couple of smaller reviews, just kind of looking at some of the albums that I've missed. I mean, we've had stuff like Deftones, Lamb of God, and you know, there's been quite a lot of big artists released some stuff this year, which I missed. So, you know, if nothing else, I suppose I could do a rundown of my albums of the year. So it'd be nice to do something. But that'll do for now. Thank you all for watching, if you've watched it this far. Thank you for supporting the channel. For anyone who has sent me messages asking where I've been or when I'm going to do stuff again, it's nice to know that people still do give us shies. You all take care of yourselves in what has been a fucked up year. Let's be honest, it really has been a one for the books, this one. And hey, let's see what next year's brings. Who knows? But thank you very much, and I will see you soon. Or maybe not, I don't know. Take care.